Hello all, Old Geek here again, and I'm just going to finish up a little series next. So, most of you know I've been going through various magazines. Been looking at Dragon magazine, been looking at White Dwarf magazine, and I've also been looking at the Carcass Crawler magazine, which is the official Old School Essentials magazine. And they keep using the word zine. I hate it. I'm going to call it a magazine. I thought I'd just finish this series before I go back to White Dwarf and Dragon, because just to tidy up loose ends. Now, I've already looked at Carcass Crawler 0, 1 and 2. My opinions, if you've watched those videos, are quite mixed on them. I absolutely love Old School Essentials as a system. I'm a big fan of old versions of D&D, AD&D and whatever. And of all the retro clones and whatever that I've seen and tried, Old School Essentials and Osric, in my opinion, are the two best I've seen. I haven't seen all of them, of course I haven't, but I think Old School Essentials is just so neat, concise and clean, and most of the bolt-on bits to make it into advanced Old School Essentials just bolt on so seamlessly. I mean, I used to play AD&D, but I played with a lot of basic and expert D&D rules in there to simplify things, and I still do like to play that way because I think it plays more smoothly, but it's down to personal preferences, and most people who grew up around the time I did would have picked and chose what rules they use and what rules they don't use and how they adapt them. It's just the way we played, and for me, Old School Essentials is perfectly encapsulating that way we played. For those who don't know, we currently have a fortnightly OSE session on my Discord. Lots of people are getting involved. We have 3, maybe expanding to 4 DMs, rotating, running different groups. Played in a very old school manner. It's a lot of fun. It's very laid back, and it's a pop in, pop out session. There's no expectation if you turn up at the start you're going to play all the way to the end, and vice versa. It's designed to just be a relaxing way to play on a Saturday, so you're more than welcome to join in. Details will be in the Discord. Right, let's enough fluff. Now, I've held off looking at this because a friend of the channel, Bear, the Gen X DM, check out his channel, he had a look at this several weeks back, so I thought I won't overlap, and also I won't watch his video yet. I'm going to watch it straight after I've recorded this, because I want my own opinion of it to be not coloured by what I've heard. So Bear, we'll see what we agree on and what we don't agree on. Okay, so this is the third of 3. I can already see it's got the Beastmaster, the Dragonborn, the Mutoid, the Mycelian, and the Tiefling. Now, some of those, I believe, appeared in Carcass Crawler 0, and I don't particularly like the way that they've done that. The 0 edition was for backers of the Kickstarter, and I know this PDF that I've got here was supplied to the backers of the Kickstarter as well. This is a slightly pre-production PDF. But we'll see how it goes. There we go, the pre-release thing. Moving on to the title page and the credits. Interior art to do. Yeah, okay, no worries. I won't judge you on that. So, introduction. Welcome in this issue. Compatibility. Yeah, that's the usual bump we get at the start of an issue of Carcass Crawler. New classes and races, expanded equipment, woodland monsters, creating monsters, and the license. So that's quite simple. Nice simple headings. You know what you're going to see. Nice bit of old school art. That is a Myconid, known as a Mycelian, probably for licensing purposes. The usual welcome bit, the bit about compatibility, and the too many options bit. We've seen that in the previous Carcass Crawlers. The emphasis is on the DM to be selective in which races and classes they pick and how they pick them in order to fit in their world. That's simple logic. Nice bit of old school art there. that meant to be a dragonborn? Never imagined them with beaks. Okay. Unless that's a mutoid. No, it might be a mutoid. We shall see. I like the art anyway. The art's good. That's definitely a Mycelian. Separate race and class optional. Yep. There is that. That's a nice thing about OSE. You can play with separate race and class, or you can play race as class. It's all catered for. I use both because I don't use multiclassing. So your multiclasses are your where you're separate are where your race is your class. So if you want to play a fighter mage, you just play an elf because the default elf is essentially a fighter mage. That works. Right, this is the Beastmaster. Requirements none, so it's not strict. Prime requisites strength and wisdom. You've got to be able to talk to the animals. Armour, leather, chainmail, shields. Languages, alignment, and common. Any weapons? Okay. Forge a bond with an encountered animal. Right, okay. I'm allowing my players to have trained animals. So I might not use this class unless it adds something special, because I think having trained dogs and whatever is just part of old school D&D. You buy a war dog, go into the dungeon, and your war dog is an extra little meat shield that might run away and might be distracted by raw meat lying around. Wild and domestic animals may be companions. Giant or magical animals may be companions at the referee's discretion. Yep. One thing I do like about these old school books is that emphasis that it's up to the games master, DM, games master, referee, whatever you want to call us. Players, just ask. Don't expect, but just ask. Bit of politeness. Up to one animal companion per experience level. So the total hit dice of companions might not exceed the character's experience level. Okay. So you could have, say, level 4 and you've got a large dog, about 2 hit dice. 2 dogs. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. That is that advantage I mentioned. So I'm allowing characters to have an animal, trained animal with them. Not so much a companion, but a trained animal. But just the one. This is a class that allows you multiples when you go through the levels. And there we go. Companion's behaviour. Once the connection is successfully established, the animal will follow you. It obeys basic commands and will fight to defend you, never checking morale. Clairvoyance. The animal acts pretty much as a familiar. Yep, so, okay, this doesn't tread on the toes of having a trained animal. This takes it beyond. Good. Fine. Absolutely. Would use it. Players, if you want to play one of these, you can. Identifying tracks, so a bit of a range of stuff. Bonuses to reactions. The ability to speak with animals. Yeah, fine. Absolutely fine. A bit of druid, bit of fighter. There you go. There's nothing wrong with this class at all. I quite like it. Dragonborns. Okay, this is the race as class version. So the draconic bloodline, breath weapon. Have they kept the breath weapon fairly low power? Because I could see that being abused. Because they've got good hit dice. You roll for your draconic bloodline rather than choosing. Roll. Damage affects everybody in the area. That's fine. Frequency of use 3 times a day. So it's essential. How much damage does it do? So for damage equal to half the Dragonborn's current hit points rounded up. So they've got a minimum constitution of 9. I'm assuming a constitution bonus here, because a lot will have a constitution bonus. So you're looking at 5, 6, 7 hit points of first level, 3 hit points of damage to all within the cone, with a saving throw versus breath, or it can be a cloud, it could be a line. 3 times a day. It's like a burning hand spell, effectively. It's not overly powerful, but they can use all types of weapons and armor. So, where's the disadvantage versus the fighter? Okay, where is the disadvantage versus the basic fighter? There it is. 3,000 XP for second level. I'd possibly argue for 4,000. I think that's a bit low, because they get resistance, but are we supposed to saving throws? Ah, they're affected by magic that specifically targets dragons. Okay, there's a disadvantage. A sword +3 versus dragons. Oh, whoops, that's going to hurt. But a bonus to reaction rolls when encountering dragons. I would specify only dragons of their own type. Yeah? And there would possibly be a penalty. If you've got obvious black dragon heritage, people are not going to trust you, because black dragons are bad. Red dragons as well. In fact, they're all the chromatic dragons. They're none of the good dragons, so they're all the chromatic ones. So yeah, I would balance that out with a -1 penalty to reaction rolls when encountering all other species, because you've got some bad dragon in you. Look at this. A Dragonborn Scaly Skin grants a national +1 bonus to armor class. So plate mail gives them AC 2. Because there's nothing there that says it doesn't stack. Definitely. 4,000 experience points and a penalty on reaction rolls against non-dragons. Then it might be balanced. Until then, no. No. Mutoids, I already talked about those because they were mentioned in CC0, I believe. They are mongrel men. And Mycelian also in CC0, I think. Myconids. Tieflings. Can't remember if I've seen these before in OSE. I'll assume I haven't. I don't know. Well, they've got fiendish gifts. Fine. Limited in terms of armor. Fine. Fiendish appearance. Okay, so where's the penalty for that appearance, unless it's just meant to be role played? Infravision. Vulnerability to holy water. Okay. Yep. Right. Watch out for that splash. Those splash effects from allies when fighting undead. Or being hunted down by parties of good priests hurling holy water at you, refusing to believe that you also are lawful. Those sort of things will happen. Those sort of things are part of a medieval style world. They've got some basic thief skills. Level progression is fairly slow. It's similar to magic users. I'd put that up a bit. I would, if they've got thief abilities and natural infravision and ability to cast darkness once per day, yeah, I'd slap that up a bit, I'm afraid. Sorry, tieflings. Now, I know a lot of old school people don't like tieflings. I don't mind them, as long as you are willing to take the issues with your heritage at the table, because I like the idea of medieval communities being superstitious. To me, it adds depth to the world, and it's something you should have to put up with if you choose this race, especially if you are known for attracting dens of thieves. Look here, after reaching 9th level, dens of thieves. People aren't going to trust you. Right, Dragonborn as a this is for the non-racers class bit, where you the Dragonborn, you have a Dragonborn assassin, a cleric, a fighter, a knight. Okay, it's almost an entire list there. See, there's no druids, but that's fair enough. Limited as thieves. Yeah, I agree with that. Fighters and knights, okay, that's fine because they are very much a martial class. They keep the draconic resistance. They keep the problem with dragon affecting magic. They lose the bonus to interacting with dragons. They lose the armor class bonus. They've still got... Oh, the frequency of use of the breath weapon has dropped to once per day. I think they're a little bit powerful. I think they're a little bit powerful. You've got to have a bit of a negative in there, and that negative for me is going to be would be reaction rolls if I allowed them at all, which I probably will not. Already covered mutoids and mycelians, tieflings. They've removed almost everything apart from the infravision, the fiendish gift, the odd appearance, and the holy water vulnerability. Again, you need to have the issue. Oh, ability modifiers: +1 dex, -1 wisdom. Right? Okay. Is that in? I'm going up. I'm going up here. Going up here. Was it on here? Ah. Okay. So they don't get a +1 dex and -1 wisdom up there, but they do further down. Right. Okay. Makes it more difficult for them to be clerics. Pushes them towards a thief bard type role. Fine with that. Acrobat. Yeah. But yeah, you've got to take the rough with the smooth when you pick these alternate races. Sorry, I'm a bit old school on that. Expanded equipment, excellent. I can tell you now we are using this in our campaign on in the Saturday games, and it comes in very handy. Love it, absolutely love it. You get all sorts of bits and bobs in the different types of holy symbol. Twine, whistles, sledgehammers, spades, shovels, mining picks, different... Yeah, some of my characters in the game have been buying these sort of things. Yep, lots of ways to deprive player characters of hard-earned cash. Always good. Always good. And little descriptions of them. Fine, good, useful. Extra weapons and armor. Yeah, I would allow these. So, padded armor. Why does everyone hate padded armor so much? Cloth armor was pretty good. But yeah, bonus of 1 to armor class furs. Fine. Studded leather doesn't exist in my game. Replace it with scale mail. There you go. Sorted. Banded mail and full plate. Yeah, fine if you're willing to spend 1,000 gold pieces for full plate. Yeah, good luck. I've got no problems with adding these extra bits and bobs. If players want them, then they can have them. Blowguns. I didn't even know blowguns were on this. I've added blowguns to my game without even knowing they're on this list. I didn't read this, and the blowgun is in the game. Spooky, eh? Spooky. I've got kobolds using blowguns with sleep darts. But the kobolds are now dead. So the players have got blowguns with sleep darts. That's the way it goes. You put it in the game, you expect the players to use it. Right. Little descriptions. Descriptions of who can use what. No need for me to use the optional rule with thieves and studded leather because I wouldn't use studded leather and I wouldn't allow thieves to use skull mail. Weapon combat stats. Bastard sword. 1d6 +1. Allows you to use it two-handed. Okay, fine. Fine, yes. Blowgun. I've got the blowgun doing 1 point of damage. That's where I differ. It's not game breaking. Not in any way, shape or form. I've added nets as well, but done them completely differently. Blackjack, yeah, I mean, I've got nothing wrong with any of these. I like the idea of thieves having things like garottes and blackjacks. I think that's good. And you'd have a slave drivers with a whip. A hobgoblin would be good at that, with a whip. Yeah. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Woodland monsters. All right. Burlbug. Bracket folk. That's a fungus person. Burlbug. Okay. Wonder what AD&D monsters these are based on, because they usually are. They usually are, but I'll read to those later because I might use some of these. Corpse Vine. Love it. Love that. Love the idea of that. Clusters of carnivorous vines that dangle from tree branches, craving blood and flesh. Splendid. Use those in a Cthulhu game. They'd work really well in a Cthulhu game. Ghoul Stag. Oh, I like this. Look at this art. Ghoul Stag, the decaying corpse of a deer, elk, or moose infected by a ghoul's bite. Superb. That's quality. Get ready, Saturday group. Yes, that's I like them things. Spell Croaker, what's that? Oh, it's a sparkly frog. Yeah, giant tree frog, which does various magical things with its croak. So it goes ribbit, magic missile, ribbit, mirror image, ribbit, web. I'd use it. Yeah, I'd use it. And that'd be good if you've got mages in your game developing new spells and potions and whatever. This would be a real prized asset to plunder for components. Yeah, exactly. Go and track down a horde, a colony of spellcroakers, because the local potion seller wants to make some potions. But it looks like these are random effects as well, which makes the potions even more interesting. Getting ideas. Thank you, Carcass Crawler. Nettle Skull Spider. That's bizarre. So it's a spider that lives in a skull, or mobile carnivorous plant monsters that inhabit humanoid skulls. The stinging, scrabbling fronds sprouting out of the eyes, nose, and I love this. This would be great in Call of Cthulhu as well. I really like these monsters they're putting in here. This is good. Yes, could do with a bit of that. Spellcroaker tadpole. Well, if you've got grown-up ones, you've got little ones as well. Stick children. Semi-intelligent 3-foot-tall insects that cover themselves with branches sawn from trees with their serrated mandibles. But it looks like human-shaped children made of sticks. This is a bit more bonkers. A bit more bonkers. Fun though. Covered in an adhesive. Yeah, surprise. Yeah, quality. Bit bonkers, but yep, fine. Information on creating monsters. Every DM creates their own bits and bobs from time to time. This sort of stuff is useful. Tweaking existing monsters, that's what I mostly do. I find the monster that is similar to what I want to create, and then just think, okay, I'll just tweak it. There are turtle men in my game, and basically I've taken orc type stats, and then thought, okay, they might have a slightly better armor class. They're not chaotic. They're going to have a decent swim speed and different treasure type, sort of, because they prize different things. Everything else, same as the orc. There you go. So you tweak things. It's easy. But it's monster stats in OSE are so simple. It's no effort at all to write down a new monster with some workable stats, as long as you've got a basic idea of how the system works. And it is it's probably the simplest version of D&D that's ever been published. Yeah, so these are instructions on how to go about it. Example, hit dice sort of levels, but this is all things that DMs do naturally as they develop anyway. So, I mean, you might be teaching an old dog new tricks here, but it's nice to have it laid down there, because it just further enhances OSE as a brilliant starting point for old school gaming. if you play the more modern games and want to try the old school, OSE is highly recommended. And it's things like this. And look at the presentation, the language used. It's very, very straightforward. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. And there's the open game license. Okay. Carcass Crawler, you finished on a high. Yeah, there's a few bits and bobs in there I wouldn't use, such as the Dragonborn, and I'm not a big fan of having monstery player races, such as I love Mongol men, and but it would be an all Mongol man campaign. I'm gonna say no at the Myconids or the Mutoids or whatever you want, or Mycelian or whatever you want to call them, because for me they are monsters, but they are interesting monsters and they're not necessarily evil monsters. They're just very alien. Dragonborn, I'm not a fan. No, I'm not a fan of Dragonborn as it is, and I don't like the way they presented it in a sense with few drawbacks. But that's the only down really, because I don't mind tieflings. They are human enough, and to me, it's a role-playing opportunity when someone plays a tiefling, because people will be suspicious. There will be superstition and so on. Beastmaster class is fine. The new monsters in there, love them, absolutely love them. And those instructions on making a monster, okay. I did say it's something to do with, it's like teaching an old dog new tricks, but not all of us playing OSE or running OSE will be old dogs. This just, to me, it further cements OSE as being possibly the best system I've found for starting an old school OSR type game. And obviously, Frank Mentzer's Red Box Beckme set, that basic set was fantastic as well, with its choose your own adventure at the start, taking you step by step all the way through. But there was still a few bits and bobs in there, and a few presentation issues in terms of layout of stats and whatever. The language was good in it, but OSE has just absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Anyway, finish on a high. Well done, Carcass Crawler. Thank you all for watching this series. I'm going to go back now to doing Dragon and White Dwarf read-throughs, and I'm also planning on doing some shorts of my my longer form reviews that I've done, because one thing that has been proven after the Games Expo is that shorts, no matter how annoying they are to make and how seemingly insignificant they drive traffic to the channel. So I'm afraid I've got to do them, really. But I just thought I'd do them based as short form, just easy bite-sized versions of my reviews. I think that's a good way of doing it. So I will still be doing the long reviews as well. Come and join us on the saying far too much, do apologise. Come and join us on the Discord, play some games. We run live streams on Wednesdays and Fridays on the channel, where we discuss all sorts of topics, read through books, that sort of thing. They're a lot of fun. We especially Wednesdays we have a panel where we discuss a topic. Fridays the chat, get involved and choose the way through a choose your own adventure. So it's a lot of fun. Thank you all for supporting the channel. I hope you click a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. See ya.